Critical thinking requires a particular skill set and an attitude that requires you to ask the right questions. Just as a sense of intellectual curiosity and exploration are important in critical thinking, they are also essential in critical appraisal. In your coursework, you have learned that critical thinking is an ongoing exploration of questioning what we know and how we know it to be true. It is our hope that this has instilled a sense of curiosity that leads you to continuously question opinions, decisions, and facts in the pursuit of truth and understanding. When conceptualizing critical thinking, it can be helpful to organize thinking styles into two key categories or analogies, if you will: the sponge and the panning for gold. The sponge style of thinking essentially refers to absorption. Just as a sponge absorbs water, individuals absorb information. Absorbing information certainly has its advantages, as the more knowledge an individual possesses, the greater their grasp of the complexity of a particular phenomenon. This deeper grasp provides them with a solid foundation for more complex thinking. However, this method of simply absorbing information does not differentiate between the type of information we should believe and the type of information we should reject. As critical thinkers, we likely do not solely rely on the sponge method, as we are able to differentiate between information which is believable and information we choose to question. The panning for gold style of thinking refers to the fact that as critical thinkers, we are active consumers of knowledge, and we do not simply passively absorb the information presented to us. Rather, credible knowledge is like gold. It is found in low concentrations and requires a tedious process of panning. But this process of panning or sorting through the value and worth of the data we're consuming to find intellectual gold or nuggets, if you will, benefits our thinking around a particular topic. In shifting our thinking from critical thinking to critical appraisal and examining the relationship between the two, let's start by thinking about what critical appraisal actually is. There is no one set standard definition of critical appraisal. Although the definition may vary slightly by discipline, there are several distinct principles that are consistently applied. 1. Process. First of all, critical appraisal is a process. It is something that takes time, skill, and energy in order to be done well. It often involves a series of steps or processes in order to accurately and effectively critically appraise a scientific piece of research or evidence. 2. Systematic. Not only is critical appraisal a process, but it is often systematic, meaning that the same rules and principles can be consistently applied in order to provide a fair and just critical appraisal. 3. Assessment. Assessment involves the actual appraisal of the evidence or outcome of a research study. Assessment typically addresses if the research is valid, credible, trustworthy, and applicable. An example of a definition of critical appraisal comes from the Center of Evidence-Based Management. Critical appraisal is the process of assessing and interpreting evidence by systematically considering its validity, reliability, and applicability for quantitative articles, and its credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability for qualitative articles. Surprisingly, a fair amount of published research should not be used to inform practice. When reviewing any research article, it is important to ask yourself whether it is worth paying attention to the results of the study. The critical appraisal process allows you to sort through the academic and gray literature and to identify those studies with the best available evidence in order to inform your research and practice. Different types of evidence also offer different strengths and weaknesses. Recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of these various approaches can help you to accurately interpret the quality of the information presented.